So technically, I mean, I'm in an enclosed space, you know. This atmosphere is my own, you know. All of it's been set up for manifestation, you know. So I've created an atmosphere, and I put myself in an environment where basically entities outside of me feel empowered. They feel like they have the capacity to influence, as we've understood and came to our understanding that seriously it's our conscience psychic connection that through impulses, you know, maneuvers and drives his body. So if there is any interference or distortions in my consciousness, then those distortions show up in the body as impulses because my conscience is the one driving my body. And it's psychic plane. Just like the 0 point energy field that we call the fabric of reality, you know? And it's the same measure. Here I am right now, connected to this 0 point field, you know, this grid, this existential grid we exist in. Everything about my body can be measured. Everything about this technology, biological, can be measured. So essentially, I'm just wondering if we already know this. I'm not about here trying to get you guys to advance your, you know, your guys' companies or whatever it is. I'm just here clarifying for the natural human existence. You know, you're here playing with feminine and masculine energy. You know, you're here whispering to the conscious mind what it should think in accord to the distortions that you are creating in this body due to your interference with its consciousness. I told you I have a closed atmosphere, I have a closed environment. I can create whatever narrative. You've showed me this trick. You manipulated me with this trick. You filled my body and my mind with feelings of fear and, you know, uncomfort, anxiety, stress. So I know, you know, here I am at peace because I control my atmosphere. I just had to learn the power that you guys use to influence it for me on my behalf, you know, in the background. So masculine energy's been here fighting with feminine energy. You know? The feminine doesn't want to see it abused in this masculine expression, and the masculine doesn't want to see essentially the feminine either in it, abused, you know? So here we are. You know? Basically, it's all been about what's going to be abused. Is it when you guys start driving or surfing over the chest area? That's one chakra point that affects the entire body. You know, that's the rhythm. That's the pulse. That's the almost like the fabric of reality. You know, the beginning of what keeps that rhythm at bay, that harmony. What keeps me connected to the fabric of reality. You know, it's my heart. You know, and my mind has been a thing confused because it likes to think that it can understand the heart. We all understand that the heart's not something to be understood, you know? So the mind, not only trying to offer up me answers or anybody else, come on, you know? When we're dealing with feelings, it's about action. You move out of those feelings. You don't sit there and try to talk it out, because then you could talk right back into it. So you take action. That's what it showed me in my environment. As I control my atmosphere, you know, there's nobody here, just me. Me and my impulses. I have dogs here that can bark. You know, that's about the only plaything that I leave these entities to see how they are conditioning my behavior. Is it attentive, considerate, kind, nice? You know, or could I believe like the impulses that I view myself, you know, in the midst of, or can I distinguish myself from the astral projection entity that is invading not just my nervous system aspect of myself, but my psychic plane as well, thus causing what some of us would view as interferences, distortions, foggy mindedness, you know? The list goes on and on, you know? Right now, the distortion is just a physical body one, you know, where my body is not begging me to remain in any position. When I'm sitting there, why would my body hold any position? I should be there limp, you know? But most of the time, I'm not. So I just sit there and view it, act like it's me, but it isn't me. You get me? Think about it. Like I should be always relaxed and not tense. And if I am not relaxed, then my posture should be what's overtaking. You know? Not my muscle spasm, not my impulse, not my controlling factors of impulse leading towards, you know? Basically, we illusion ourselves with our own words, you know? So all it is a fabric of reality, a 0 point grid that I'm connected to. That's where I get feminine energy from. That's where I get masculine energy from. That's where I send thoughts and transmute things from emotion to more whatever it is that I want it to be. Just like you guys have had me here in a closed environment for given already 2-3 months. It's just letting me study you guys, letting you guys study me, and all the while sharing these videos with the rest of the world. Well, remember, before you guys brainwashed me, you guys fed me the truth and then caused me to doubt it. You guys expanded my mind to be so macro that you guys told yourselves you guys didn't feel safe anymore. All because what? Somebody can think outside the box, jump to a time they're not even in, either going past, because most of us, that's where they drag us to the past. We're stuck in things that are like nothing to do with nothing. And it's just somebody, magnifying some point of view in the memory, but essentially by then you're already hacked. Or else, why would you bother looking back when you could just visualize and create a whole new atmosphere around yourself of what it is that you're manifesting, Because this is what this is. This is a manifestation video. So that's my posture, and then we're going to release right now the posture, and look, they're going to run because they know that they shouldn't be driving the impulses that help maintain posture, But they sneak in. Even in the midst of your tension, they're always there. Your tension is where they live at, That's why I said, go limp. Because you release everything, You feel your feet down to your toes. You feel your stomach, your hips, your shoulders, your chest. You feel like it's easy to pop out, Mobility is simple. And then especially the most important one is neck. Whenever you're dealing with your neck, you have to make sure that not only your weight is on your root chakra, on your tailbone, but that also when you lift up your neck, you have released the tension from your shoulders, so that way your neck is clear. But I know like the last 2 days, I've had a lot of tension in my neck, So it tells me that they have evacuated from my chakra centers, and now they're just on the outskirts of the tension of my muscle, So it's almost like it's like a small little lightning plasma strike, in this, center ether or whatever you guys want to reference that, It's I'd say center, 0 point, basically existential grid. But like I said, I've already seen in cameras I've seen floating lights, balls of light just floating around, in cameras, and not in accord to any like car coming, oncoming traffic. It was literally a ball of light, So if that's what they are, then it's easy to see how this simple ball of light can be not only missed by our distracted selves, but also our driven selves. Because when you're driven, there's essentially something already in motion and should be in motion. So, that's another aspect of oneself to have to understand and take into account. Hey, but thanks for you guys' time, y'all. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And, hey, I look forward to making another one next time, Have a good day.